Yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. So, Derek, what was your first introduction to this film?
Well, there's a really great friend of mine, John Shepard, who is another producer on the movie. He and Cyrus Naraster, the director, was talking about this process. Cyrus was still in the process of writing, and John was like, "Hey, there's this project that I think we've been talking about being a part of something. He thinks that this is the right one," and so. I got the script and I read the script, which was done by Cyrus and his wife, Betsy. And I was just blown away by it on a number of fronts. One, it was so well written. I had not in a long time had gotten such a wonderfully written script. And then secondly, the story that they were telling. And it was for me a bit embarrassing somewhat that I didn't know this story already, right? And I'm sure there are more stories out there that you just don't know. And so I have a 7-year-old daughter. I was like, I am so in on telling this story. I think just so many people need to hear this story. And so that's what initially got me involved.
Yes. And with, you have an extensive background in your career. It's amazing. I was looking at your bio. Derek, can you tell us a little bit about the importance of telling our own stories and our storytellings in situations like this? Because you're right, we haven't heard the story a lot.
Yeah, no, I think it's so. I think that was, really smart of both Cyrus and John to make sure that this story was authentically told with a number of eyes on it because it deals with culture on both sides, and so the best way to do that is to make sure that everybody is involved in the process, and it's really important to do that. And I think that's why so many people are resonating with this story because we were able to make sure that it was done as a collective as opposed to a person telling a story from a perspective. We got multiple perspectives involved, and I think at least from where I stand, I think we did a really good job of doing that.
You did, absolutely. I'm interested in this. I was looking at the rating of it, and of course, this story historically, the topics are very intense and very heavy. But you all deliver it in a way that the entire family can watch. Tell me
Right.
about how you guys approached that, and was that intentional?
It was. I mean, one, we wanted just to tell the story, and just get it out, right? And then as we watched the movie and we saw, oh, you know what? If we didn't show blood here, or if we didn't shoot this person there, we were very intentional about making sure that the masses could view it and walk away with something that felt authentic but also safe for their kids and the family members. So yeah.
Yeah. Because honestly, when I was watching it, there were a couple times where I was kind of holding my breath. We brace ourselves a lot of times when we watch these
Oh,
stories.
yes.
Yeah, but I love the fact that you all delivered it the way you did. So kudos to that. I got a chance to chat briefly the other day with Naya and with Saniqua and with Kit and Rick. And
Wow.
how closely did you work with the cast?
It was a very collaborative process. Somebody made a suggestion here, and we were like, "Oh yeah, that's a great suggestion." There's a young lady named Winsome Sinclair, who was a part of the casting, our casting team, and she helped us find our Sarah, right? And I always like to tell this story when the opportunity organically presents itself because Winsome was dealing with cancer while this was going on, and most
Wow.
people didn't know. And at some point, she let me know that she was dealing with cancer, but that it wouldn't impact her ability to do her job. And we lost Winston before the movie was over. But what a blessing it has been for her to go out of her career because we worked together on this movie Sparkle, and she went out in just a bang, providing us with this Sarah that is telling this incredible story that people are resonating with around the country. And so, yeah, so all that to say, yeah, we were intricately a part of the process from casting to locations, et cetera, et cetera.
We were talking about, the you working with the cast. I'm curious to know this. Can you tell us a little bit about how they prepared for the on-screen connection that we witnessed? The story centers around this amazing 11-year-old Sarah Rector, and Naya did such an amazing job. But the family dynamic between her and Saniqua and Kenrick, how did you all accomplish that?
Well, Sonequa and Kendrick are husband and wife, so
Yes,
that chemistry happened
built in.
independently of us, right?
Yeah.
And then and by them having young kids themselves, I think, and being a mother and being a person of color, there is that Kendrick spirit, as we talk about in the Bible, that I think just happened very organically. Shaniqua knew how what to do as a mother and Kendrick as a father, and the magic of the casting of those two, when you get it right, it becomes very organic and easy to happen. And that's what it just happened. I think, also, I always say Sarah Rector was in the heavens, doing her own casting and making sure that we told her story in the right way with the right cast members involved. So
Beautiful job. Guys, make sure that you go see the film November 7th, Sarah's
absolutely.
Oil. Absolutely. Final words, Derrick. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Final words.
Final words would be, listen, it's so important when we do these incredible stories that we go out and support. November 7th, not the next weekend. Oh, I can do it the next weekend. You can do it. There are 3 days at different times over the weekend. Please go the first weekend. It's important so that we can do more of these incredible stories. And thank you for your support.